Apps flashing secret honey holes on phone screens scam you out of cash and fish every trip. Chuckles. I watched buddies drop $50 a year chasing those dots that put them on empty water. I filled the live well full right next to them using nothing but a cheap $2 homemade map. Stick with me and I will tear apart the marketing lies these digital tools keep pushing hard. Then I hand over the exact everyday item system that pros guard so you time prime zones. You will start timing prime zones for bigger hauls without ever opening an app again at all. Serious. The real damage from these apps goes much deeper than just those bad pins on the map. Next, I reveal exactly how this scam works with personal proof from my years on the lakes. I'm Jim Callahan, though most folks around the local lakes just call me Big Jim these days. I have put in 40+ years chasing largemouth bass on reservoirs all across this great region here. I hold 5 regional Angler of the Year titles, earned from tough local tournament circuits around here. My Hall of Fame spot came from reading water temperature and weather patterns instead of glowing screens. I know every submerged stump and drop-off better than the freckles on the back of my hand. I built my own maps the cheap way long before phones ever hit the water out here. I still use the same notebook from 1987 with pages stained by fish slime and coffee. And the reason those apps keep failing is the first dirty trick they pull on us all. The first thing those apps do is sell you last year's data dressed up as live intel. I once burned a whole Saturday following an app hotspot claiming trophy bass stacked on a point. It turned out the satellite image was from a drought year when water sat 6 feet lower. Every cast I made hit mud instead of the ledge where the fish actually held that day. Apps never tell you their spots come from old satellite images that no longer match current conditions. That wasted Saturday taught me never to trust glowing pins without checking the real water myself first. Real fish locations shift with levels and seasons in ways outdated maps simply cannot capture for you. So next time an app shows a hotspot, ask yourself how old that information might really be. Apps get their spots crowdsourced from weekend warriors who mark every random fish they catch out there. That means the secret location already saw 20 boats before you even launched your own boat out. Pros keep quiet because real honey holes die the second they get shared with the whole crowd. Ever notice how shared pins turn quiet spots into boat parking lots by midday every single weekend? I have seen good spots ruined overnight after someone marked them on a popular app for all. Weekend warriors mean well, but they do not understand how pressure kills the bite for everyone else. True secrets stay off the grid, and that is why my notebook stays private all these years. Sharing kills the magic and leaves everyone with average water and fewer fish overall in the end. Ever notice how the free version always teases the good stuff behind a thick paywall every time? That is pure bait designed to train you into believing more money equals more fish for sure. They dangle a few free pins, then lock the best ones until you hand over your credit card. I fell for that trick early on and paid for upgrades that delivered nothing special at all. The company counts on you thinking a higher price tag means better locations and bigger fish always. In reality, the paid layers often just repackage the same crowded data with prettier colors on top. You end up spending more yet still fishing water that has been pounded hard by dozens already. Skip the bait and save your money for gas and baits that actually put fish in the boat. I tested 3 top apps side by side against my old paper notes on the same reservoir myself. The paid pins put me on average water while my $2 system put me on a hot school. That school never stopped biting for hours while the app guys struggled nearby and went home empty. My notes had the temperature and wind locked in from previous trips on that exact ledge there. No algorithm could match the personal history I had written down in simple pencil marks that day. The apps looked fancy with their overlays, but they missed the living patterns I tracked by hand. Side by side, the homemade map won every time because it held living details only my eyes could see. That test proved everyday items beat paid digital tools when it comes to finding active fish schools. Marketing loves shiny sonar overlays and heat maps that look scientific on your phone screen each day. What they hide is how wind barometric pressure and daily temperature swings move bass faster than updates. One app told me a creek mouth was fire at dawn even after an overnight cold front. I knew the overnight cold front already pushed every fish 20 yards deeper onto the first drop. The guys glued to their screens kept casting the shallows and left empty-handed after hours of casting. Those temperature swings and pressure changes happen faster than any app can update its pretty maps ever. I watched them cast the wrong depth for hours while the base sat deeper and ignored everything. Trusting the heat map over the actual conditions cost them a full limit of base that day. Have you ever followed an app pin only to find 3 other boats already there waiting? Drop that story in the comments because I bet half of you have the same exact scar. Apps also ignore the tiny details that actually matter, like current seams from a single underwater rock. Their algorithms smooth everything into pretty colors instead of the raw edges where base ambush their prey. I learned that the hard way after trusting a prime zone that looked perfect on the map. Real water has texture those pixels erase, and that texture is where the base wait to ambush. A single underwater rock can create a seam that holds fish better than any colored app zone. Those raw edges get smoothed away, so you miss the exact spots that produce day after day. Next time you open one of those apps, remember the company makes money whether you get fish or not. Their job is subscriptions, not your limit of base, and this flips the assumption that they help. This flips the assumption that the app is on your side when it is not at all. All that fleecing is why the $2 system, the Pros Guard, becomes the only map worth owning. And the exact everyday kit is coming next, so you can build it yourself this very week. Now that you see exactly how they fleece you, let me hand you the $2 map next. That $2 map put a 7-pounder in my boat on a spot 0 pins ever marked before. The exact everyday kit that makes it work is coming up next, so do not go anywhere. Grab a cheap spiral notebook, a pencil, and free county topographic map from the library or online printout. That whole kit costs less than a pack of soft plastics you buy without thinking twice. Mark every visible landmark you can see from the bank or boat, like a unique tree boat ramp or power line tower. I still use the same notebook from 1987 with pages stained with fish slime and coffee. That's the entire arsenal that beats every paid pin, and here's exactly how to turn it into gold. The method forces you to look at the water instead of a screen, so bait flickers become visible. You start noticing bird activity and surface signs the phone never shows during your trips. Suddenly you own knowledge that no subscription can match because it comes from real observation. On every outing, note the water temperature at dawn, midday, and dusk right next to the date and weather. Base relate to temperature bands more than any GPS coordinate ever will on those glowing screens. Write the readings carefully because they form the foundation of patterns no algorithm invents for you. I have watched entire schools leave a ledge when the surface dropped just 2 degrees after a front. Pair the temps with cloud cover or rain notes so you recreate winning days later with ease. Temperature bands move the fish faster than any update cycle those companies promise each morning. After logging several trips, the notebook paints preferred zones that stay productive across whole seasons. This habit keeps you locked on the living lake instead of outdated digital images forever. When you catch a fish, write the exact depth, the lure, and what the wind was doing. Do that for 3 trips and patterns jump off the page that no app can match. Those personal details create a living record far richer than any crowdsourced pin from Weekend Warriors. I also note lure color and retrieve speed because tiny changes often decide the whole day. Wind direction and strength show how the bait will swing and where base will face. After 3 solid outings, the links between depth, temperature, and wind become crystal clear on paper. No computer program can copy the history you build with your own hands and careful eyes. Those patterns put you on active fish while others keep guessing and wasting hours on empty water. One October, I noticed every solid base came when the surface temp hit 62 degrees with light north breeze. That single line in my notebook put me on fish for the next 6 weeks straight. App users kept guessing and casting random spots while I returned to the same productive zones daily. The north breeze stacked bait along the windward banks and the temp kept base active and feeding. I followed that note like a treasure map and never once needed a digital pin to find them. 6 weeks of consistent action came from one simple observation written in pencil on cheap paper. Guys with the latest apps asked me how I knew, and I just smiled and kept casting. That October proved the notebook holds more gold than any subscription service can ever sell you. Fold the topo map so the reservoir fits one page, then sketch the contours by hand using your depth readings. Shade the drops that consistently hold fish in different seasons with a soft pencil for easy changes. Your personal soundings create contours more accurate than any old satellite image from years past ever could. I sketch the ledges and points as I measure them so the map grows with every single trip. Seasonal shading shows winter deep holes versus spring shallow flats in a way that sticks in memory. Hand-drawn lines capture the true shape of the bottom better than smooth digital overlays on any phone. Within a few outings, the page becomes a custom chart that only you fully understand and own. Pros guard these sketches because they reveal the real structure that produces fish year after year. But here's the timing secret the pros guard like gold and most anglers never even consider. The hand-drawn zones expose patterns like a submerged roadbed that only produced right after a 3-day warm rain. My notebook had the date pattern locked in from previous years when the same conditions lined up perfectly. Apps never track that living data because they cannot see the conditions the way eyes and a pencil can. This overturns the belief that more tech equals better intel when simple notes beat every algorithm out there. That roadbed stayed empty for weeks until the warm rain raised levels and washed bait right over it. The day after the rain, I went straight there and loaded the boat while screens showed nothing special. Real water has living rhythms only a patient hand and open eyes can record for future use. Build a simple legend with symbols for stumps, grass edges, and current breaks so everything stays clear forever. Update the map every outing and within a month you will own knowledge worth more than any subscription. Those symbols turn your notebook into a personal code that speeds up decisions on the water each day. I add new marks after every good fish so the page evolves with the seasons and conditions. Curious if anyone else still keeps a paper log, tell me in the comments how it changed your fishing. Sharing those stories helps the whole community remember that old methods still put fish in the boat. Within 30 days, the accumulated notes become more valuable than any paid app you might download. The legend and constant updates make the system live and grow just like the lake itself does. The real power comes when you cross-reference moon phases and barometer notes you scribbled yourself over time. That combination times the bite windows apps advertise but never deliver accurately to the average angler. Everyday items win because they capture the living details only your eyes and hands can gather. I quit every digital map the day my homemade version put a 7-pounder in the boat. That fish came from a spot 0 pins had marked and only my notes guided me there. Keep the notebook in a Ziploc so rain never ruins a season of hard-earned gold. Protecting those pages means the knowledge stays ready for the next cold front or warm spell. Pencil and paper gather what algorithms miss, and that edge fills coolers when others go home empty. All those glowing screens promise the world yet leave most anglers chasing ghosts on empty water. Meanwhile, a pencil and paper put real base right at your feet every time you launch. The lakes still hide the same secrets they always did for those willing to map them the old way. Anglers who map them the old way keep filling coolers while screen watchers leave disappointed and empty. Next time out, leave the phone in the truck and watch how the water starts talking again. I have got another hard-earned trick coming that most guys overlook until it is far too late. If this saved you a few wasted trips, hit that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop a comment with the biggest fish your own notes ever produced so we can all learn.